Hey guys, if you play nylon string guitar, you may have heard of obviously bossa nova, classical, flamenco guitar. There's so many great things to play on nylon string guitar. But as an evangelist for the nylon string, I would be very remiss if I didn't teach you a little bit about Brazilian choro music. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this Portuguese word, but I'm going to just call it choro music. There should probably be more of a sh sound in there, but whatever. We're just going to play the music. We're not going to be pronouncing things, right? Whenever you encounter a 16th note, an 8th note, and then another 16th note inside of the same beat, you know that you've got something probably a little bit Brazilian sounding and definitely syncopated. And what we're going to do here is learn how to play the basic choro rhythm, and we're going to use the chords of the song I was just playing. Now I know I'm going to mispronounce this, so in English we'll just call it The Sound of Bells, but a really, really great choro song, really catchy melody, and the chords are almost like a jazz song. Let's just look at how this rhythm should sound playing just the open E string. Now, if we have a 16th note followed by an 8th note, we know we're going to hear a short blip and then something longer. So we're going to go 1 E, 1 E and, 1 E and then we have the last 16th note in the beat would be if we're counting 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and, right? So then we would have this 1 E, 1 E, like that. So if we keep going, we get this sound. Now check out how we see exactly this rhythm repeated over and over in Charles No. 1 by Villalobos. For the basic rhythm that we're going to do, we're not going to get that crazy with it and just do that same figure over and over and over. But it does sound very Brazilian, doesn't it? Da, 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 very syncopated and jumpy. But what's really going to happen here is we're going to take a bossa nova and flip it upside down. So instead of playing the syncopation in the last half of the measure, we're going to play it at the beginning and we have an instant choro. And that's where bossa nova and samba come from. Choro music comes before samba and bossa nova. It's the precursor to that and really is kind of ground zero for so many cool Brazilian rhythms. Hey, if you like this kind of music and the way that I teach, you can become a member or buy individual courses on my website at theversatileguitarist.com. I have this song, The Sound of Bells, all tabbed out with play-along videos for you. Really, really great material for nylon string that I'm adding to all the time. So just on the open E string here, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have that rhythmic figure I've been talking about, and then the second half of the measure, we're just going to have 2 8th notes. So we're simply going to go 1 E and a 2, and 1 and a 2, and then we're in 2/4 time. 1 E and a 2, and 1 E and a 2, and... Let's back up 1 second and play an A minor chord, and an easy, easy waltz. Watch this. Now here I'm playing the thumb on the 5th string, my ring finger on the high E string. At the same time, we play those. And then we have on beats 2 and 3, we're counting to 3 now. This is a waltz. These 2 fingers at the same time, we could call that a block chord. 2, 3. We're going 1, 2, 3. Well, if you can do that, you can do the choro rhythm. All we're going to do is try to play that first block sooner, like this. There it is. There's our rhythm. Now, if we do the rhythm I was just talking about, all we have left is 2 and we can do really whatever we want. So let's try this. 1 E and a 2 and. We can alternate the bass. So that's really your drill for getting into this rhythm. That is the rhythm, and try to do that with any chords that you can. But let's look now at this song, The Sound of Bells. Really beautiful song. We're not going to play the theme there. I just care about you getting the rhythm down and getting these chords down. And we'll talk a little bit about the theory as well. So I am in drop D when you hear people play the arrangement of the song. Classical guitarists know this song. This is a must-know song. We are in drop D. It's in the key of D major, and the main chord progression is a 2-5-1, or in this case it's a 1, then the 2, and then the 5. But if you know a little bit about chord progressions and your theory, that is a jazz progression, 2-5-1. If we're in the key of D major, as we are, E minor 7 is our 2, kind of a jazzy 7th chord, then A7 is our 5, and then we have D major, or D major 7, is the 1 chord. And in this type of music, you might see 2 5s going back centuries. You know, it's really just 4-5-1, you could say. It's a basic tonal harmony. But in this song, at the very beginning, we hear a major 7. So it's an old song, but it's got some jazzy elements in it. That is a major 7th chord. But what we're going to do is play a more Brazilian-y chord, a 6-9 chord. That is D6-9. And we got the low E string that we can add to that if we like. So I'm playing D here on the 5th fret of the 5th string, and then smush this finger down so we have F sharp and B. That is a major 3rd and a major 6th. Then we have a 9th here, that's E, and then tuck your pinky underneath. You could also do that. but this feels fine, better to me to do it like this. That is our 1 chord in the key of D major, D6-9. Now for E minor, we're just going to play like this. We could also grab all 3 of these. You know E minor, but because we've tuned down to drop D, we need to make up the difference in that string by going to the 2nd fret here. So there's an E minor chord. And then for A7, you know that one, except we're going to play A13, which the song actually does. So again, it's got a lot of cool jazziness in there. F sharp is a 13th over an A7 chord, and I've got actually a 9th on top as well. So technically a 13th would have a 7, 9, 11, and 13, but on guitar we don't have that many strings or fingers, so I'm just going to play the 9th and the 13th there. Beautiful sounding chord. And check this out, when you go back to the D chord, you can just slide these guys down, and there it is. A second ago when I was talking about practicing doing a waltz and then just kind of easing our way into this rhythm, I was doing this kind of thing. Right where we have these two and then a block. But here we're just going to play our thumb first and no ring finger. It's going to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to go 1, a flipped upside down bossa nova, 1 E and a 2 and a 1. You can play, depending on how many strings are in the chord at the moment of whatever you're playing, you can play these 3 or the next 3 or whatever you want. 1 E and a 2 and a 1 E and next chord is E minor, 1 E and a. If you want to alternate the bass, I suggest adding that B note in there. That way your thumb can toggle between these 2 strings, the 6th and the 5th. And then A7, you can play A7 however you like, but definitely try this one. The song actually does that. It goes F sharp minor 7 and walks down to the 2 chord. So this is the 3 chord, and it's just a chromatic passing chord to get there. Really sounds cool. Little rhythm I did there, I went. So I did that rhythm like Villalobos did twice. So you don't always want to do everything the same way. First you have to when you're practicing something or learning something new, but then you can always kind of mix it up a little bit. In fact, when I play the song, I don't go like this because I love that melody so much. I let it breathe just for a second there, and I don't do that syncopated rhythm. I go, and then I'll do it, you know, maybe on the next thing. Like I said, there's so many great songs to play on nylon string guitar. It's absolutely insane. You may have heard this song before. Tico Tico, that I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that too. That's another great classic Choro song. You should really check out this music and add this rhythm to your repertoire of nylon string rhythms. And speaking of rhythms, in this video I talk about what I think are the 5 most essential rhythms to know for nylon string guitar.